Welcome back to the DaBoot Tragedies. We're going to speak on the 2023 campaign that the Pelicans are about to start, coming off a great first portion of the season, maybe a third of the season, a little more, 23-13 in that span. But it's 2023, new campaign, new year, new goals. It's time to jump on, even though it's the same season. It's time to get back hot. They were on a 5-game win streak that snapped against the Memphis Grizzlies, coming off a back-to-back against Philly on New Year's Eve. But 2023, let's look at the outlook for the Pelicans. We're sitting number 2 in the West right now. Tied for number 2 in the West with the Memphis Grizzlies, only behind the Denver Nuggets, whose Jokic is putting together another MVP-type season. But that's neither here nor there, man. A 5-game win streak was snapped against Memphis, like I said, on New Year's Eve. They were playing well, still are playing well. You're not going to win every game. That's it. But we do play Philly today. This will be a nice victory against Philly. Would sweep them for the season. Now, that last Philly game, the stars came out, and the stars came out to play from the Philly side, from New Orleans side. You look at James Harden, he had a 20-point, 10-assist game. Joel Embiid had 37 points, 8 rebounds. So their stars came out to play. That pick and roll between Harden and Embiid is very hard to stop, man. Obviously, that's two of the better players in the game. But the Pelicans did walk away victorious in that game. And, I mean, let's start with Zion. Zion was the beat act in this game, which is absolutely crazy because Zion had 36 points, 5 rebounds. The man is still a beast. You really can't guard him. He's at the point of his career where he's unguardable. You better send 2, you better send 3, but he's a good enough passer that he's going to beat that as well. So the man's just unguardable right now. He's healthy. He's flying around. He's looking good. It's everything you expected from Zion Williamson once he got healthy, once he got in shape. It's everything, and it's more. And it's more. If the Pels can keep winning, he keep putting on performances like this, his name will be in more MVP conversations right now. I think he's top 10 at the moment, but he started off the year kind of slow. He's picking it up now, and he's just a freight train, and no one can stop him at this point. But the A-Act in that Philly game, man, C.J. McCollum, who's been up and down this year, his shots, come and go, and I've been critical of C.J. McCollum because, hey, man, he's been playing bad in some games. But like I always say, man, he came here to be the third guy. He came here to be the third guy behind B.I. and be Zion, be the closer, be the veteran leadership. Now, he can take over at some points. In Portland, he took over a lot of times, with him and Dame. They kind of took turns taking over. So he's very, very capable of taking over a game, taking over a series if it's the playoffs or something like that. So he's going to always have that in his bag. We just don't need him to be that every night. But this game against Philadelphia, that last game, he went crazy. Absolutely insane. Probably his best game as a Pelican. He had 42 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. Absolutely great game by him. Franchise record for 3-pointers, 11 for 16 from the 3-point line. That's absolutely insane. To take 16 threes in the NBA game is already crazy. Let's just be honest. The NBA game is just wild right now. But to make 11, that's obviously fantastic. You're not expecting it every night, but man, if a guy can get hot like that, get that shot going like that, and still play within the system, he didn't make 11 threes, but take 25 or something like that. He only took 16. So basically, he almost made just about everyone he took. So, I mean, that's very, very efficient from CJ. He was hot. He was feeling the franchise record. Congrats to him on that. But we're going to switch focus just a little bit, talk about Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram update, obviously, he's been out for a minute with that toe injury. Obviously, you need Brandon Ingram. He's the other star on this team. He's the other all-star, all-NBA caliber type guy that we're going to need. Obviously, him and Zion are 1A and 1B. You can flip it and flop it how you want it. I'm not going to get into who's better. In my heart, I know who's better, but that's neither here nor there. They're both our guys. They both can be number 1 options. You don't have to try to time report to figure out who's better. Brandon Ingram, over the last, week or so, he has been ramping it up. I have seen him out there pregame, taking shots. Look like he's been, adding some moves. At first, he was just kind of, going through the motions, kind of like not even half speed, just a very, very slow speed. But he looked like he's ramping it up. He's adding some moves in that pregame warm-up. Looked like he's moving a little better. That toe injury, obviously, it's been tricky. It's been keeping him out longer than he's intended. I did see he had an interview after one practice. It looked like he was sweating a good bit. Only way he could get some sweat like that is if you're putting some work in. So, obviously, he's ramping things up. I don't know when he's going to be back. It's no definite, timetable for his return. And the Pels, they're winning right now. So, you don't have to rush him back. Now, if the Pels were, they're 23-13. If they were 13-23, they will be trying to rush him back, giving him a chance to be re-injured things. So Zion and CJ playing where they are, Naj Marshall, Fell, even Jackson Hayes chipping in, Jose Alvarado, Trey Murphy's back now, Hurst back. You don't have to rush Brandon Ingram back, and that's going to be a good thing because you don't want to rush a star player back and put him at risk for injury. So as much as I would like to see Brandon Ingram back, Take your time, Pels staff. Obviously, they don't need to listen to me, but take your time with Brandon Ingram, man. We've seen this too many times with the Saints guys try to come back too early, get re-injured. You just don't want that to happen. So, Brandon Ingram, take your time. We're 23-13, man. However long it takes, that's how long it takes. Get 100% healthy. Get a week of practice under his belt. Slowly bring him back in there, on minute restrictions and things like that. Because this team is too good right now. This team is playing too well to try to force him back in there when they're playing well and putting him at a chance or a risk for injury. We just don't need that at this moment because the team is playing too great. I'll kind of touch on their schedule for the rest of the year or go through some, highlighted games. Obviously, today they have Philadelphia. That's going to be a good one. Then on January 6th, they got a home game against Brooklyn. That will be an ESPN game at 6:30. That's going to be a really good game. The Brooklyn are the hottest team in the NBA right now after they fired Steve Nash. Ben Simmons is back. KD's playing crazy. Kyrie's playing crazy. Then it's a back-to-back. After they play at home against Brooklyn, they have a road game against Dallas. That's going to be a big one as well. You got Luka, you got Zion. Two guys that, kind of have their name in the MVP conversation. So did Kevin Durant the day before. Two guys that in the MVP conversations. Both are young players looking to be the next face of the NBA, kind of after the LeBron wave kind of goes away and stuff like that. So that's going to be a very interesting game. We're at Boston, January 11th. That's going to be a pretty good game. Then you scroll down a little bit. We got Denver on January 24th. You got Milwaukee on January 29th. That's an NBA TV game. Then you're at Denver on January 31st. That's going to be on TNT. I don't know if Zion's going to play that game. I'll definitely be watching out for that because Zion hasn't played a TNT game yet. And obviously those TNT guys had some things to say about Zion. And it's a conspiracy right now that he doesn't want to play on TNT. I'm not going to believe that's true. But, hey, if he doesn't play on January 31st against the Nuggets on TNT, hey, we'll be looking for that one. Then on February 7th, well, actually, that's before February 7th. They play the Lakers February 4th. That's obviously a big one because, they want to beat the Lakers because they have the Lakers pick. They have that pick swap. Then you have February 7th. They play Atlanta on TNT. So I'll just stop right there. No need to go through the entire season. But, man, the schedule isn't that tough for the Pelicans. I think the tough parts of the schedule already passed. We had a very, very tough stretch against Utah and Phoenix where we lost 4 in a row. I think, those hardships are over. I'm assuming we get B.I. back this month. If not, hey, man, stay the course, get healthy. But I think he's ramped it up. I think he's almost ready to come back. And that's obviously going to help this team tremendously. Get some chemistry with those guys. You want those guys on the court. You have to tinker with these lineups. Zion at the 5 with B.I., Herb, Trey Murphy, CJ, or however, lineups you want to run. You have to get different lineups out there. You don't want to, wait too late into the season to try to tinker with these lineups. So, hopefully, B.I. comes back. It all works itself out. Hopefully, we get this W against the Philadelphia 76ers today. And let's keep 2023 off to a strong start, man. The Saints got to win. LSU play today at 12. And if the Pels can get a win, that's a trifecta for Louisiana sports. Thank y'all for tuning in once again. As always, this DaBoot Tragedies, and I'm out.